Alright guys, welcome back here. So in this video here, I want to download Python and make sure that it's installed on our machine here. This way in later videos, it can actually run the code, okay? So I'm at Google here. All that I'm going to search for is Python. And I'm going to go to, I believe it's python.org right here. And then we're going to find the downloads right here. Now do know there's a difference between Python 2 and Python 3. For this course right here, we're going to be using the most current one, which is Python 3.10, okay? Let's go to downloads right here. And depending on your operating system, let's go right here. You're going to need to download the correct one for your operating system, okay? I believe this is detecting that I'm on Windows right now. This is why it says download for Windows here. But if you go to the Mac here, you can download it for that too, okay? And this should be good to go here. Now, I already have Python installed here, but I have Python 3.9 currently installed here. So it's going to want to install now here. And we're just going to do an express installation. Install now, looking good. And right now for me, this is going to update my current Python. For you, we just download and install it from there, okay? And we're going to give this a second here. And I should mention, if you are working with a different operating system, this shouldn't be too difficult here. Just go ahead and follow the download for the Mac or install for Linux there. Should be pretty simple to do, okay? And we're just about done. Cool, so that was successful here. Now we can go ahead and close this from here. Now to make sure this is installed here, you can either launch command prompt here, or you can use PowerShell. Either one works the same here. Where did my PowerShell go? PowerShell. There's my PowerShell. So from here, to verify I have Python installed, I'm going to type in Python -V from there. And this is going to give us back the version, okay? Now we can see mine says 3.9. I might have to restart my computer for it to show 3.10 here. But regardless, it shows that we have Python installed here. Now if we want to go to the Python shell here, I could type in Python. And this is going to open up the Python shell right here. And I can do some basic operations through here. I can do 2 + 2. It's going to give me back 4 here. I could do like 5 times 15. That should be 225 if I'm correct. 75, I'm sorry, 15 times 15 is 225 from there. I could also, if I wanted to here, I could close out of this. So I can say exit, followed by parentheses, which indicates a method here, and this would close out of the Python shell. Now to know whether I'm in the Python shell or the normal PowerShell from here, if I type in Python again here, you can see these 3 arrows are indicated from there, okay? If I type in exit, it gives me back to the normal PowerShell. All right, we can close out this right now here. We won't be interacting with this version of PowerShell much more throughout the course here. We will do a little bit through Visual Studio, but we'll talk about that more later on here. Actually, I should say Visual Studio Code. I'm going to close out this here. Now, one thing that's important that I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make a new directory, a new folder. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder here. I'm going to go right-click, New Folder. I'm going to call this Python Course. So I went ahead and made a folder for our course from here. We can see Python course. And do know that, you know, whenever you're working with a project or working with a course here, it's important to have a folder, a directory for your course here. And this way it keeps everything nice and organized from here. It makes life a lot easier, okay? Other than that, I think this is going to be it for this video, guys. I think we're looking pretty good and in good shape here. In the next video, we're going to be installing Visual Studio Code, which is going to make everything a lot more organized for us here. Instead of having 3 different windows open, we're just going to have Visual Studio open in this way. We can have a PowerShell on the bottom, and we can type our code up top here. Why don't we here? This is a little bit of a tangent here. So real quick, I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit here, but just so you can see the power of Python, I'm going to make a file here, and I'm going to run it with Python. All right, so I'm going to right-click here. I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to go to Text Document here, and this is going to start off live as a text document, and then we're going to change it to a Python file from here. I'm just going to name this Python test, okay? Now if I go ahead and open this up here, one of the commands that we use in Python is called a print command here. And I can pass whatever I want inside the print command here that I can print it out to the screen from here. So I'm just going to say hello world from here. And I'm going to save this just like that from there, okay? So it's printing out this message to the screen from there. So right now this is just a text document from here. If I run this as a Python document here, I'm going to change the extension from txt here to .py. All right. Cool. Now, like I said, this is a little bit of a sneak peek here. Don't worry too much about this. I'm going to do a few things kind of faster. This is more of just a demo here. You don't have to follow along here. I just want to show you guys how I would go about opening this file with Python and kind of the power of Visual Studio Code in a second here too, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and open up a PowerShell from here, and we're going to talk more about PowerShell navigation in a later video from here, but right now I'm in the C drive here, so I want to get over to my E drive. You probably won't have to do this here. This is because I have a couple hard drives on my computer here. So I'm going to go to CD and E and colon, and CD stands for change directory here, so now I'm in the E drive here, CD, and I'm going to go to my Python course here, and now I'm inside the same folder that I'm here. So if I want to open up this file with Python here, I would type in Python, followed by Python, the name of the file from there. And if I hit enter, I can see that it prints out, it runs the same command that we saw a second ago when we made the text document from there, okay? The only reason why I did it is so that you kind of understand. I know sometimes while I was working with Visual Studio at first there, it was a little confusing kind of how everything worked here. Python is writing these files from here. In a minute, in the next video here, this will make a little more sense here, where we have the file that we're typing above here and the terminal in the bottom, and the terminal is writing the file from above, okay? Like I said, this is confusing to you. Don't worry too much about this here. The most important part of this video here is that we downloaded Python, and now we have it installed. Remember, by default, of course, later versions of Windows might have installed, or later versions of Mac might have installed by default, but right now, by default here, if you just try to run a Python script or Python file, your computer's not going to know how to do this here. Once we download and install this, now your computer does, okay? So hopefully that makes some sense. You guys did great in this video here, and I will see you guys in the next video.